This is my second time watching the Kiiyon video. You see on the title what it is, on the screen what it is, and I don't agree. So this is my second time listening. Like I said, I'm gonna argue my points as to why I don't think that MMA fans are racist towards black fighters, and if they are, then it's like equal racism towards everyone, and like not in a bad way. It's not what you think. Like I personally don't think that there's any racism really going on in the MMA community. But let me just play this video.
Take. MMA fans are a little racist against black fighters.
Okay.
I gotta agree with this. And this is very apparent when we talk about Tyron Woodley.
Sorry. Woodley. Are we going to act like Woodley's a fun fighter? First of all, are we going to act like his personality is good? Second of all. And third of all, his rap career. Like, come on.
Former UFC welterweight champion and a fighter who I think out of any fighter that's ever fought in the UFC has been very vocal about his mistreatment as a black MMA fighter fighting.
But the only thing that I remember he ever argued was like handpicking his fights and wanting more money when he's not a person that anybody likes. Not because of his skin. It was not like whoever said that, like because of his skin. No one ever said that. We always said he doesn't want to fight the best guys. He keeps making excuses. That was back then, you know. Obviously he's washed up now, but like, come on. If he was white and he fought the same way, we would say the same exact thing about him. If he was out here trying to start a rap career, out here acting like he's the most like important fighter of all time, like he used to, like, come on.
For the UFC, and because of it,
wait, hold on, and let me just get this. Let me just say this. Woodley's actually I like Woodley, like his fighting. People say he's boring. He could have been boring here and there. I'm a fan of power though. He had that power. I liked him. I was a fan of his MMA career.
Received a lot of backlash. People right away were saying he's pulling out the race card. He's trying to play victim, this and that. And I think Tyron being so vocal about this is a big reason and a big example as to why I believe the MMA fan base could be a little racist. Because, for example, if this happened in other sports leagues, organizations such as the NBA, the NFL, the fan base will be more in tune with it. They would listen to it more, talk about it more, and actually give the athlete.
But Woodley just wanted to get paid more because he thought he deserved more, when the way that this sport works is if you're not bringing in the pay-per-views, you're not going to get more money. I know what you're saying, you know, like in basketball, LeBron, if he was making 10 million, he'd argue. This isn't like that though, you know, like if LeBron, it's just a whole different game. Here you have to be winning and you have to be getting the fans involved. You know, like basketball, the fans are there regardless. Here in MMA and boxing, the fighting game, it's not like that. The fans aren't already there. There's a few of them, yeah. But like you see when Conor fights, he brings in a bunch of fans. When he doesn't fight, there's a lot less fans. Woodley had a lot of less fans. So why would he be getting paid more? Like, unless Dana literally came out and said, like, yeah, dude, this black dude, I'm not paying him more. What the heck? Look at him. Like, if he said look at him, it was because his fights were being hella boring and the pay-per-view numbers were not there.
Their time of day in regards to what they're trying to say, especially if it's about something like race. But in MMA, specifically the UFC, they just shut them down right away. And
because it has nothing to do with race.
I feel like a lot about this is due to the fact that the UFC doesn't really make it a point to talk about it. They like to shy away from things
there
like
is
this.
No racism, that's why.
It's too serious for them. Whether It was Tyron talking about race. They didn't want to talk about it as well. We had Dana talk about it at one point. He said we're not a politically correct promotion. We don't deal with that kind of stuff here.
Which
When
they
Joe
don't.
Rogan said the N-word on his podcast, the UFC didn't make a comment. And see, that's the thing. I'm not even trying to say we should cancel Joe Rogan. He should get fired from his job. But the UFC did very little to basically nothing in regards to making a statement about it.
Why would the UFC have to make a statement about some stuff that Joe Rogan said that has nothing to do with their UFC like branding or anything? Obviously, he shouldn't have said the N-word. Obviously, he did. It was a long time ago too, though. I know that. And when all out those clips came out, that was just cancel culture trying to cancel Joe Rogan. Like, when was the last time he said the N-word? When has he ever meant it in a rude way when he did? Not saying it's right again, not saying it's right. But come on, man. I don't know. I don't know why he's bringing Joe Rogan in here, like, come on.
And bringing awareness about it as to why it's wrong. And because the promotion doesn't do that, the fan...
And also, by the way, when he was saying the N-word, everybody was saying the N-word back then. Like, people were doing weird stuff back then. Hey, look at my boo. Where was I? I lost my train of thought. Yeah, so like back then you were way more likely to get away with saying that, and obviously that's why Joe said it on his freaking the videos that are out there of him saying the N-word. It's not right, he should have never said that. But does the UFC really need to come in and start doing a campaign of say no to racism because Joe Rogan said the N-word 10 years ago? Like, when I don't know, that one doesn't really seem to fit with the MMA thing, He's a commentator, I get it. Not really a commentator anymore. He's hardly there, but I don't know. I feel like that's just, I don't know, like nitpicking maybe.
Base is going to follow along, at least most of them. And they're going to say, you know what? You're right. This isn't a big deal. We shouldn't make it a big deal, but it is. And I think
it's not a big deal. If he said it today, in this day and age, it would be a big deal. He said it a long time ago. The last time that, from what I remember, I could be wrong, but he has not said that in a public video, the N-word, in a very, very, very long time. Okay?
There's a dynamic that's been created between the UFC and the fan base in regards to being a little racist. That's what I see personally. And look, there are a ton of examples
Give me them.
I could bring up to this. I feel like
this is why I wanted to make the
primary
video.
Examples that people would bring up in the comments is that one of the most favored fighters of all time, or fan favorite fighters of all time, is Anderson Silva, John Jones. People love these guys.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Black MMA fighters are only able to get that recognition once they reach the highest of the highs.
Derek Lewis never became a champion. He's never going to be a champion. He did not reach the highest of the highs. Who hates on him? That's just the first person that came off the top of my head. Obviously, you do kind of need to make it to the top in order to get respect to a certain point, you telling me people don't like Kevin Holland? Kevin Holland's one of my favorite fighters, dude.
So John Jones, Anderson Silva had to be the very best for a very long time.
Again, who doesn't like Kevin Holland? I mean, I guess he might be hated on, huh? I take that back. Kevin Holland, he does have haters. Derek Lewis does not have haters. Who hates on Derek Lewis? I'm trying to think. Who else? Let's keep going.
In order for them to get that respect. But even then, they still receive disrespect. And I'm not talking about John Jones with all the things that he does outside of
we
the
know
cage.
about
I'm
John
talking
Jones.
about inside of it. If he doesn't perform well in a fight, people are going to turn on him. Same with Anderson Silva after that.
We're going to ignore the fact that John Jones beats on his wife and he's still forgiven by the whole MMA community. But, you know, we're going to ignore that because we're going to make a narrative about him, about people being racist to him. But if they were truly racist and once they find out that he put hands on his wife, we really don't think that they would have done a lot more, said a lot more things to him? Like, no one talked about it when that happened. Him smacking his head on the police car, no one talked about that. Dana's over here saying, this guy's the GOAT, dude. He beats on his wife. He's the GOAT. How is that racist? Again, you did say, though, he gets an exception because he's the greatest. But I guess, you know, I don't know.
A Damian Maia fight, so many people hated on him. And it just goes to show, even just one minor mistake from these guys, the fan base turns on them.
Hamzat missed weight and the whole fan base turned on him. Hamzat Chimaev. The fan base does this. They flip-flop all the time. Paddy Pimblett just flip-flopped with his fans. Oh, God. Like, they literally just flip-flopped on him. Like, come on. Are we going to ignore that? Like, come on, dude. People flip-flop all the time for anybody. People don't like Conor McGregor right now. But I guarantee you, if he wins in his next fight, they're flopping over back on the bandwagon, even though, like, it's only the casuals will, because they don't know, you know, that he's going to come back and get his ass beat if he fights real competition. That's besides the point, though. Like, what are you saying, man?
Immediately. And even when a black fighter does reach these heights, such as a Demetrius Johnson and Kamaru Usman, those two guys still did not receive the recognition they deserved, in my opinion.
None of the 125ers have received any attention.
And for Kamaru's case, he received a ton of hate that I thought was very unnecessary.
Kamaru Usman's hate is a little unnecessary. I'll admit that. People just don't like his personality because it's not like it has nothing to do with him being black. It has nothing to do with racism. I think it's because he says, I'm the green panty knight. He thinks he's like good at shit talking. He's not good at shit talking. He thinks he's funny. He copies Conor McGregor's quotes. I feel like that's why he's very mixed. But people still like him because they know he's a freaking dog when it comes to fighting. He's one of the best. But his personality, I know why. I know why. You know why. Like, come on. You're telling me when he said that he brings the green panty night, whatever, and Conor had said red panty night. Come on, dude. Really? You're telling me you like that? You're like, oh yeah, this guy's so cool for saying what Conor said, but just changing the color. Like, you really think that's cool, dude? Come on, Kiiyon. There's reasons he was not that liked.
So those are...
Also, he was a bit of a just wrestler, you know? The only wrestles. Boring.
Prime examples of fighters reaching the top, black fighters reaching the top and not being recognized for it. But then we also have an example like Israel Adesanya. People loved him when he was on his come up. But then when he became the champion, started having some boring fights, boring performances, people started to hate him.
Because of the boring fights.
It sounds very similar to George St. Pierre, in my opinion. But I have to admit, in comparison to the amount of negative feedback those two got, I think Israel received way more than George. Because for George, people easily forgot it by his next fight, and we're looking forward to see him fight again. With Israel, people...
And why is that? Is that because he was putting in better performances? Is it because now when his career is said and done, he's considered one of the best of all time? And I mean like top 1, top 2, like, and some people consider him the very, very best. What are you talking about? Adesanya will never be treated as that. No one will ever claim Adesanya as the number 1 best MMA fighter of all time, of history. People argue that about George St. Pierre. What are you talking about? Obviously, the guy that's not the greatest of all time is going to get a lot more hate than the guy who is considered the greatest of all time. People wanted him to fight Khabib to really see if he was the number 1. Like, come on, dude. That's a dumb argument. That has nothing to do with the skin color. It's not racism. One of them is a great fighter. Well, one of the, maybe the best middleweight champ. No, I don't know. He's definitely one of the best middleweights of all time. That's all you could say. You can't say he's the number 1 pound for pound best MMA fighter ever. You could say that about George St. Pierre. Like, does that not, you don't think that doesn't click to you? That, yeah, I could see why a lot more people would hate on Adesanya. This guy has no grappling game. Come on, dude.
Had deep anger and hatred for him. Another example, Francis Ngannou. This guy being described for his power.
Yeah.
Hits like a Ford F1, whatever.
Yeah.
And
Ford,
he's a freak athlete. How come he can't be described as a smart fighter who's very technical?
Wait, hold on.
Trains hard.
Okay, no. He is a smart fighter. We all said that after the Gane fight, because he was smart enough to take it to the ground. Technical, he's not technical enough to beat Gane because Gane was way more technical than him. He's a powerhouse. Like, he's a truck. He runs through people. What are you talking about? That's what he is. Like, if he was white, we would be saying the same thing. What? Like, what? Where's the racism?
Knows the fundamentals well. We saw that in his...
We do say, yeah. Okay, like, I think you were about to say it.
Fight against Cyril Gane.
See, you did say it.
How come that's not being spoken about?
It was.
He has to be this freak show type of fighter in order for him to get promoted. And then the moment he starts talking back to the UFC in regards to, I want fair rights for fighters and fair pay for fighters.
Which he's not going to.
The UFC paints him as a diva.
What's he going to do about that?
The moment he starts trash talking or just talking back, it's, oh, he's cocky, he's arrogant.
Or maybe it's this guy is disrespecting our freaking UFC organization. We're trying to cooperate with him, and he's not willing to. Obviously, they're not going to do the... I think that maybe they should do some sort of insurance for MMA fighters, whatever Ngannou wanted. They're not going to do that, though. Not anytime soon, at least. And if they do, I tell you what, Ngannou's not going to be at the forefront of that. Like, it would have to be someone like Conor McGregor, which, no offense to Ngannou, but he's nowhere near that star level. None of these MMA guys are.
Meanwhile, if a white fighter does it, oh, he's talking back. He's courageous. What an alpha male this guy is.
Okay, I think you're just talking about Colby Covington, dude. But, like, yeah, go tell, like, these lower ranked Middle Eastern people, these white dudes, go ahead and tell them to go ahead and shit talk the UFC. See how long that they're gonna last in there, dude. Like, really? You think that they won't get kicked out because they're not black? You have to be black in order to be kicked out or something? Like, where's the racism? I still don't see the racism.
And another example of this trash talking is Leon Edwards and Darren Till. Two very similar fighters. Both strikers, both from England. One is white, one is black, and the white guy was always talking a lot of trash. Leon was actually very respectful, but
so there you go.
At the trajectory of both of their careers.
Yeah, because one of them is getting more people involved. Like I said earlier, this isn't like basketball where the fans are already here. All right, they're not. You need to bring in the crowd. If you don't bring in the crowd, and you said why, like why he brought the crowd, Darren, because he was shit talking. That's why he brought the crowd. You just said it yourself. Where's the racism in that? You're saying if Leon Edwards didn't come out and shit talk, if both of them came out and shit talked the same exact way, and people were hating on Leon Edwards because they were like, I'm not gonna root for that black guy. I'm gonna root for Darren Till because they're both from England, but this guy's white. That's not what they did. They were most likely like, oh, this Darren Till guy, he just said something hilarious after the fight. I'm a fan of him. And Edwards put on a mediocre performance probably, and then just said mediocre ass stuff that you say after the fight, and no one cares, and then they forget who Leon Edwards is. Like, dude, come on. Where's the racism in that?
Look how much more fame Darren received in comparison to Leon.
And I just said why.
Leon didn't even receive any of that respect until he became the champion.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one, dude.
So
Charles Oliveira was on like a 12-fight win streak. He received no notification. Like, nobody knew about him until he became the champion. It's because we're racist towards Brazilians, right? No. Not how it works. You don't bring in the eyes, you don't get the prize. Like, come on, dude. Next.
Trash talking for black MMA fighters never goes well for them. Another example, Aljamain Sterling. The guy is basically forced to be a villain, even though he really didn't do anything wrong.
He didn't do anything wrong, kind of, except for that one post on Instagram. This is the one that made me not like him, because I used to like him, and then I still like him. Like, he's a good ass fighter. The only thing I don't like was how he was like posting his pictures up like he was the real deal champion on Instagram with his homeboys. Like, he just whooped someone's ass to get that belt when he first took it from Jan, but we know it was because of the illegal, knee. He was getting his ass beat. That's what rubbed me the wrong way. I know that's what rubbed people the wrong way a lot. And then he kept acting like, yeah, I'm the champ. What the heck? I beat his ass. But you didn't. He could have. He would have no hate if he came out and was respectful and said, hey, I gassed out in that first fight. He beat my ass. Like, he's not gonna say that ever. But if he did, he would have a lot more respect if he just said that and said, but watch, I got way better. I'm going to beat his ass come around round 2. So that then, even though he got that controversial win, people would still like him more. But like, he acted all arrogant when he got his ass beat. That's number 1. Number 2, when he got the rematch, he won, but it was very close, controversial. That was not good for him. That's not his fault, obviously. That's just what happens. You acted like a clown, acted like you got the belt by beating someone's ass when you didn't. You got your ass beat and won that belt. Then you get a controversial fight as your next fight when some people argue you lost. That's not a good look. And then your very next fight, so that you could prove to everybody that, like, that one's not your fault either. That TJ Dillashaw hurt his shoulder. But, like, you put yourself in this situation in the very first place when you became the champion. He chose that route. All right, Kiiyon, he chose it. He could have been humble. He was not humble. And I don't know if you know this, but, like, they're just not liking him for it, man. I would understand, like, And like most people don't get away with shit talk unless they win, you know. And like you're saying, he's winning, but like I'm saying, it's controversial right now, and he put himself in this spot. If he came out and shit talked Dion, knocked him out in the first round, shit talked TJ, nothing seemed wrong with TJ, submitted him in the first round, stuff like that, then we would all start saying like, okay, dude, whoa, you're freaking hella good. But you're getting a controversial win here, a controversial win here. You're saying you're the very best. We don't see that. The last time we actually saw something not controversial, you lost. Like, come on.
This
Not
is a
racist.
guy I loved on his come up, beating everyone in his way very impressively. That win against Corey Sandhagen. I thought, man, this guy deserves all the recognition in the world. But the only way he was able to get that was for him to become the villain. When the disqualification wasn't his fault. What's
Colby Covington also barely became famous when he became the villain by saying racist stuff, but hey.
whatsoever. And then he beats Piotr for a second time. People are like,
Oh, wait, no, never mind. I take that back. Colby's white, so yeah, never mind. Take that back. Ignore that. You never heard me say that.
Piotr should have won that. Beats TJ Dillashaw. TJ was injured.
Yeah.
There's no winning for Aljamain Sterling.
And he put himself in that spot.
So he is a prime example, in my opinion, of black fighters have a hard time.
Like I said, though, it's the circumstance. If anybody, like, everything I just told you, the situation, you know, on how he lost, he got his ass beaten, got kneed in the head, and then controversial win next, and then very controversial win next after that. Does that not sound like a guy who hasn't really proved to be the very best yet? Can you not argue that? Even though I haven't even thrown you the color of his skin. Do you see? Like, there's reasons why people don't like him right now.
Becoming the hero in this sport. It's very easy for their mistakes to get to the top in front of everyone's eyes for the MMA fan base. And
the mistakes go to the very top too. Paddy Pimblett, everybody hates him now. Since Khamzat missed weight, a lot of people turned on him. Like, these guys aren't black. Where's the racism? Come on, dude.
It's just not fair, and it really makes me wish that Dana White was more passionate in defending this, like he was in defending fighter pay. And I know already a lot of people are going to be like, man, you're wrong. You're trying to make something out of nothing. This is how I see it.
Okay. That's how I see it.
Disagree? I'd like to see your reasons down below.
Nah.
The next hot take is...
I won't show you down below, but I'll tag you in this video if I know how. I don't know how, but maybe someone could let you know if they think my arguments are valid. And I guess that's it. I only wanted to talk about that hot take because I just don't see the racism, honestly. I have only one group of friends that we all watch the UFC. I watch, who else? MMA Guru and Ariel. There's a couple more, like Sean O'Malley. And I haven't seen racism anywhere, dude. In the whole community. I just, everything he said, I just don't see. I don't see everybody that he said that has controversies about them that are black. It's not because they're black. It's never been about their skin color. They all have different issues going on. Whether it's Aljamain Sterling with his weird wins and his weird personality, or it's John Jones. John Jones, though, he's the GOAT, right? Beats on his wife, but he's still the GOAT. Although MMA fans are racist, but most of them consider John Jones the GOAT. And he beats his wife, and we're going to ignore that. But, come on, man. I guess I'm done. It's 30 minutes. Hot take. Let me know what you guys think. Am I a racist now? Like, I hope not. I don't think I am.